Well, ladies and gentlemen, it comes to the time. Have you noticed the flyer for the month? Have you noticed the gentleman doing this? Doing this? Yes. He is thinking, he's planning for 2022. He knows that 2022 is going to be your year. Now, if you understand, I want you to say this while I introduce him. Make this the best year yet. Make this your best year what? Yet. And what does yet stand for? Y-E-T? You earn trust. Earn trust in your people, and they will get you to your best year yet. That's right. That's right. Yet. You earn trust. Earn trust in your people. People follow people that they trust and admire, not money. They follow people they trust. So let's make sure they follow you. And your road to RD will be there. RVP will be there. Mr. Evans did a great job yesterday. Today, ladies and gentlemen, this young man hails from the San Diego area. He just gave us the bonus of the month. He's a great father. He's a great leader. He has one of the largest organizations in the San Diego area, not just San Diego, spread out, but he's well known in San Diego. I mean, when I'm hanging out with him, he's always stopping, shaking hands, kissing babies, giving autographs. But without further ado, regional director on the way to regional vice president, the great, the one and only Mr. Julian Lewis.
Thank you so much, sir. Again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your leadership. And it's one thing to understand that when it comes to a leader, when it comes to a serious leader like Mr. Thomas, he doesn't have to think about whether I'm going to get up this morning after a holiday and being sick and do the call. He doesn't have to think about whether it should be different because people are celebrating or doing anything else. He knows that it's a part of who he is and the fabric of his being, that he's going to be there for the people that need him the most. And so he's definitely a consummate leader. I'm so excited to be able to be a part of this call with you and him today. And if we could, can we just show him our appreciation, because it doesn't happen enough. So can we give him a round of applause while we're doing it?
Thank you.
All right.
I don't know how Bill Bailey is driving and clapping at the same time.
Because, man, he's from San Diego. He's got that knee action with the steering wheel. I'll talk about that some other day. But Mr. Bailey, salute. It's good to see you, brother. All right, so let's get this thing going. I'm very excited to talk about our topic this morning. We're in the new year. And a lot of times in the new year, we hear about, what do we think about when we think about new year? We think about new beginnings, right? Yes, she knows. Heather Perry knows about that. We think about new beginnings. We think about new opportunity. We think about, what do we think about? We think about letting go of the past. You see memes that talk about that, saying, what do you want to not see in 2022? What do we want to keep in 2021? Things like that, right? So people are focused on letting go of baggage and focusing intentionally on what they want to accomplish. And that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. One of the biggest light bulb moments that I had when I started to focus on personal development in ACM is what you focus on grows. I want you to write that down. What you focus on grows. And it doesn't matter what it is, but what you focus on grows. So if that is the case, if you're focusing on the bad things that are happening in your life, you're going to get what? More bad things. If you're focusing on the bad behavior with your kids, you're going to get more bad behavior. If you're focused on, check this out. If you're focused on, as a leader, the things that your team isn't doing, I want to let that pause for a second. If you're focused on the things that your team isn't doing, you're going to get more of that. Because in a sense, recognition is reward. So by recognizing the bad behavior, you're actually rewarding it. That's going to mess you up when you sit and look at these notes later. When you recognize the bad behavior, you're actually rewarding it. Recognition is a form of reward. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play a quick video, it's an audio from Tom Bellew, and then I'm gonna share some slides that kind of support what I'm talking about, and then we're gonna go into how you wanna really create results in 2022. So let's go ahead and get to that.
The world is an ugly and desolate place, at least if that's what you focus on. Here's the reality. You're going to get what you focus on. And if you choose to see what's wrong, if you choose to see what's broken, if you choose to see all of the things that are bad, then they're going to be exaggerated. You're going to see them everywhere. If you choose to see the ugly in this world, you will literally be buried in it. But if you choose to see beautiful, if you choose to see potential, if you choose to see the things that are right, then all of a sudden you're going to be surrounded by that. And this is one of those things that no matter how much I say it, people don't really understand the power of focus. If you put your time and energy into what you decide to see, the world will change. There's literally a region of your brain that determines whether what you're looking at is good or bad, positive or negative. But you can take control of that. Nothing has to happen by accident. You can literally shape the world before your eyes. Think about this. The brain is encased in total darkness. Light never touches your brain. The movements of the air that we think of as sound never actually reach your brain. Everything hits your eye, your ear, and they're translated into electrical and chemical signals. And from that, you construct a reality. But the truth is, you're living in the matrix right now. Even if this is not a computer simulation and we're really here, your brain is still creating a reality. It's determining what you see. Now the question is, how much of that are you going to let happen by accident, and how much are you going to take control? And once you decide to take control and start constructing optimism, positivity, all of a sudden you're going to have more energy to attack things because you believe that they're going to happen for you. And belief is ultimately the most powerful thing that you can have. If you believe that your time and attention is going to be rewarded, if your efforts are going to result in improvement, then all of a sudden you don't have to worry about whether you're good. You only have to worry about how much time and energy you're willing to put into something. And once that's the equation, once you're the eternal learner, once your identity and your self-esteem is entirely wrapped up in getting good, in becoming great, then you'll make progress. Because you're not tripping over self-loathing. You're not tripping over hating who you are or what you're capable of. You're not worried about what you were or weren't born with. Once you get out of that trap and you start thinking about your potential and you start thinking about what you can become, that's when the world opens up to you. But it all comes down to what you focus on. So you've got to be very careful about what you allow yourself to see. And yes, it is a choice. And the question you have to ask right now is, what choice are you making? What things are you deciding to see? What is your world created of? Once you take control of that process, then potential becomes limitless. But first, you have to know that it all begins with focus.
All right, guys. So I hope you got some value out of that. I want to share some slides really quickly so you can see a little bit of what I'm talking about. So, whenever we focus on the bad, even when we have good intent, we get more of that. And it's psychological because we're focusing on the bad things, more of that grows. So if you take a look here, what we talk about, the war on drugs. The war on drugs, because we were focused on the drugs, guess what happened? It created more drugs, more issues, more drugs that we had to deal with because we were focused on the thing that we didn't want. So we got more of it. Look at this one, the war on terror. The moment we got into the business on the war on terror, guess what happened? More terrorist cells started popping up left and right because as a society, we were intentionally focused on terror, which meant we created more of it because you are a creator of your reality, and where your energy goes, guess what? That's what happens. You're going to create more of those issues. Look at this one. The war on poverty. The war of poverty worldwide created more poverty because we were focused on the problem. See, what all of these have in common, the war on poverty, the war on terror, the war on drugs. Eliminate war on, and you see what the active word is. When you focus on drugs, when you focus on terror, and when you focus on poverty, you bring about more of it. I hope that makes sense to all of you, because it's not just, see, Tom Bellew was talking about yourself. And I want you to think about what is a part of who you are yourself. So if I'm talking about your business, let's say in ACN, I'm talking about your organization. Isn't that an extension of you? If I'm talking about your organization, if I say Brian Baker's organization, if I say Casey Carter's organization, if I say Marie Belena's organization, isn't their organizations an extension of them? It is. So here's what's crazy about that. I want you to really hope you catch this, because we're in the 4th day of the month, which ironically is my anniversary in this business. I want you to think about this. If it's an extension of you and you're only focused on the things that are not happening in your business, and you're only focusing on the things that people are not doing in your business, then that's not necessarily being negative, but what it is doing is it's creating more of the lack. It's creating more of what you don't want in your business. So how do you remedy that? Because most people, even leaders, most people, because we're human, we're negative by default. We're programmed to focus on scarcity and lack. Why? Because scarcity and lack can lead to death. That's just DNA. That's a focus. But you're an intelligent being. So if you understand your defaults and you understand where your focus will go in a natural way, you can decide to do what? You can decide to focus on the things you do want, the behaviors you do want. See, when it comes to my daughter, one thing I focused on is I rewarded her for the behaviors that I did want. And because she liked the feeling of that, she leaned in to those behaviors. There are other parents that focus on and only recognize their kids when they do what? When they do wrong. And because of that, those kids do more of it, because that's the only time that they get recognized. So I'm not saying that your organization is your children, but if you think about it in the same way you care about the mental mind, the mindset of your child, what behavior do you want to focus on? So I say that to say this. When it comes to the ACN, when it comes to the business, what do you want to see more of? It's not about where you are today. I want to look at the gallery really quickly, because I want to see something. Do me a favor, and hopefully you got your video turned on, or I'm not going to be able to see this. And it would mean the world to me if you could turn your video on for a second so that I can see this, because this is really important to me. So Natasha, thank you. Ursula, thank you. Winston, thank you for turning your video on. Mr. James Clark, salute. Thank you, brother. It's good to see your face. All of you thank you, Mr. Harrison Mills. I appreciate that. Now here's what I want to ask you. How many of you on here are, by show of hands, are at least CQ, customer qualified? Okay, cool. How many of you are executive team leader, by show of hands? All right, I'm looking at all of these. Keep them up, keep them up. Don't get tired, keep them up. The ones that keep them up longer, they're the gangsters. Keep them up, don't get tired. Mr. Michael Hampton, put your hand back up. Thank you. Keep them up. Keep them up. I see you. I see all of you. You guys don't think I do, but I do. All right, perfect. You can put them down. Here's why. Oh my gosh, Casey, stop. Here's why I asked all of you to raise your hands. I asked all of you to raise your hands because I wanted to get a kind of snapshot. I see the majority of the people on here are CQ and above. If you're an executive team leader right now, I want to give you a round of applause. I want to congratulate you. Can we give everyone that's ETL a round of applause? Listen, if you're a regional director on this call, I want to give you an extra round of applause. Can we give all the regional directors an extra round of applause? Here's why I'm saying this. It's because here's what lack does. Here's what the wrong type of, and I'm sharing this with you so that you can recognize it in yourself and eliminate it, okay? Here's the wrong way of thinking. Here's a negative way that will keep you where you're at. I'm an ETL, I've been an ETL too long. Or if I'm a leader, you're an ETL, you've been an ETL way too long. Here's what that gets me thinking about: lack. And even some of the best leaders, psychologically, they don't understand this. Here's why I know. Coca-Cola, they did something years ago. They came out with new Coke. Does anyone remember that? They said, we're not doing regular Coca-Cola anymore. Here's new Coke. And here's what they did. They took away the old Coke and they gave everyone the new Coke. Do you know the country almost shut down because they were pissed off about the new Coke? Why did Coca-Cola do that? It's because they messed up on understanding human psychology. So if a company as large as Coca-Cola could mess up on something like that, that means that we can, as top producing RDs, RVPs, SVPs. And we don't even know that we're doing it. The way Coca-Cola did it is they did all these blind taste tests, and they found out that 55% of the people in the blind taste test, they chose the new Coke, which was huge as far as taste. And then they did a taste test where it wasn't blind. They saw the old Coke and the new Coke. And here's what they found out. It increased by 6%, would choose the new Coke over the old Coke. So they assumed that those numbers meant they should eliminate the old Coke and only focus on the new Coke. And it blew up in their face. Why did it blow up in their face? Because that percentage wasn't telling them that people liked the new Coke, that higher increase when they saw it. Here's what it was really telling them psychologically, if you understand psychology. It was telling them that people will always lean towards the thing that they feel they can't get. See, the new Coke wasn't in circulation. So they leaned towards that one because they felt exclusive, because they were tasting something no one else could. But when they removed all the old Coke from the shelves and they applied only new Coke, people had a fit. They wanted the thing they couldn't have, which was what? The old Coke. So I need you guys to understand that I'm not beating you up by sharing this part with you, but it has to be addressed. See, when it comes to ACN, if I feel like I've been an ETL too long, if as a leader, I'm saying, hey, bro, you've been an ETL, Curtis Evans, you've been an ETL way too long. Dale Ranson, forget about it. No, turn back around. You've been an ETL way too long, right? If I start doing that, Dale Ranson, Curtis Evans, they're going to feel even worse. And they're going to be like, oh, this sucks. I'm an ETL. If I say, Harrison Mills, you've been an R&D for way too long, man. Horrible. Here's what I do. I literally de-edify the position of RD. Wait, you need to hear this. I hope whatever you're doing, you get focused right now. If I say to my organization, you've been an RD way too long, I de-edify the position of RD. Here's what I'm acting like the owners of Coke right now. What I'm actually doing is the people that are running for RD now. Here's what I did. Hope you guys are catching this. Those that are not yet RD, they don't see the value of RD anymore because I de-edified it in front of everyone. Are you guys catching this? So the value of RD goes down, which means I actually slowed my organization down by saying that. And most people aren't even aware of it. And so Tony Kupis, at every leadership on Friday mornings at the international training, you know what he would say? And I took a note from his page. This is from Tony Kupis's book. He's one of the best at motivating people to get to where they want to go. And this is leadership. So guys, this is going to be big. This is one of those light bulb moments. Every leadership, correct me if I'm wrong, RDs, Brian Baker, you can type it in if you want, any of the RDs that have been to the Friday leadership. Here's what he said. He would say, the great news is, I need you guys to understand, it doesn't matter how long you've been at TC, because TC was the standard to getting in. It doesn't matter how long you've been at TC. Everyone that is not in this room, they wish they woke up this morning as a team coordinator. Is this true or not? Brian Baker says facts. Why, as a leader, does Tony Kupis say that? Because he wants you to realize that it's a blessing to be where you're at right now. And imagine everyone that is not in this room, they wish they woke up this morning at the position that you are at. And then he goes even further to say, today is a new day. Today is a new day. What does that mean? You can start today as a team coordinator and you can decide to be in top production from today forward. What's the difference? He's focused on the behavior that he wants to see, not the behavior that he isn't seeing. So how does that relate to you as an individual? If the majority of you are ETLs on this call, what do I know about ETL? Not everyone in the company is an ETL. Most of you on this call are at a position that the majority of the people that join, they're not at. You have the opportunity to wake up this morning and start as an executive team leader in ACN. And here's what's so crazy. By focusing on today being a new day and today being a new year, and this being the 4th day in a new month of a new year, you have the opportunity to decide that from today forward, these are the things that I'm going to do in my business. And see, the leaders that think that way are the ones that can always turn it on. When you're focused on, I've been here too long, I'm not doing too well, you're focusing on all of the lack and the things that you don't want, and you get more of it. But when you decide and you realize that you're grateful and blessed for where you are right now. What if you're a CQ? You're not yet ETL, right? But you know what? You're blessed because you were smart enough to see an opportunity in ACN and you made a decision to join, and you made a decision to be actively involved to the first promotion of CQ. And if you got to CQ, you can teach others how to get there. And in doing so, you'll get to ETL. Today's a new day for you. So you get to decide how quickly you want to move forward if you start out today as a brand new person, knowing that you are a little bit higher than everyone else. You are blessed. And if you focus on that, you focus on gratitude, if you can have a state of being of gratitude, guess what? You get more of that. You get more of that. All of a sudden, all of these things start to line up because of who you're being while you're doing. See, you could be working extremely hard in ACN, but if in your head, I hope you guys, please hear this. You could be working really hard in ACN at any level, but if in your head, all you're thinking about is where you're not at yet, you'll constantly keep that distance between where you are and where you're not. Why? Because you're focusing on not. But if you focus on being grateful for the position you're at, and then figuring out how you can help more people, you have a state of being of gratitude and a state of being of service. And when you put gratitude and service together and you focus on the behaviors that you want to happen in your business, you're going to get people who want to be recognized for that behavior because they see that you're only recognizing that behavior. Does that make sense, guys? All right, so let's talk about real briefly, and then I'm pretty much done. Presentations. When it comes to presentations, how does this work in that situation? If you guys have heard me say, when a new person joins on a PBZ, they're waiting for all their people, all their guests to get on, right? An average human mistake is to say, hey guys, we're about to get started. We're just waiting a few more people. We had a lot of people that were supposed to be on, but they're not here. That's called focusing on the negative. And in doing so, what happens to the people that are there? They start to say, why am I here? Right? So what I'm trying to teach you is something that goes through all levels of beginning the business through leadership. But if you don't recognize it, you can make the Coca-Cola mistake as a leader and start recognizing the wrong behaviors. So that mistake sounds silly to all of us because we know when we have a PBZ, you don't focus on the people that aren't there, you focus on the people that are there, right? See, everyone's nodding their head. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. But the same thing applies as a leader. I'm not going to focus on what Marie Belina, and I'm mentioning her because she's in my organization. I'm not going to focus on what she's not doing. I'm going to focus on what she is doing and figure out how to help her do more of it, how to tweak it as we run. I'm not going to focus on what Mr. Sam Foster isn't doing, because if I get him stuck on what he's not doing, guess what I get him out of? Forward movement. But if I say, Sam Foster, I see you going to the mall, my man. I see you going out there. I know Texas weather is bipolar. One day it's hot, one day it's cold, and you still going out there and making it happen. Here's what I see. I see you saying these few things. And sir, if you add this to it, it's going to take gasoline and throw it on the fire, and you're going to come back with this many more prospects. Now I'm Sam Foster's hyped. But if I say, Sam Foster, you said that wrong, you're doing that wrong, then he gets focused on what he's doing wrong, and it slows his momentum. So these are just few tips that'll help you as you move forward in 2022. Remember, in our business, in corporate America, more meetings means your employees hate you, right? But in our business, more meetings means more money. In other words, go out there. Stop focusing on what you don't have, the lack. Focus on what you do have. An opportunity to win big for your family in 2022. The ability to get paid residually when people pay bills. The opportunity to offer them savings on services they already have. The chance to work with family members and friends and loved ones and get to the top together. If you focus on those things, then you vibrate at a different energy, and that energy is attractive. But if you focus on people might say no, people might do this, people might do that, then you lower your vibration and it's not attractive. So if you make that shift and be intentional, like the song I played this morning, it's about intention. Focus on aligning your intention with your impact, and you will do way more in the month of January. And I'm telling you this is just a secret before I pass it to Mr. Thomas. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I'll let you in on a little tip. Here's the secret. Between you and me, if you work your assets off, okay? And you do me a favor, do everything in your power, Pat. Look, he left. He has to get back in. Okay, guys, listen. If you do everything in your power, set your goal on regional director by the end of the month. What do you need to be a regional director? Organizations of 600 points, right? A maximum of 200 points in each leg, but no minimums. Do me a favor. Work like hell to get RD done. by the end of the month. And if you do that, worst case scenario, when they talk about this new position, you might actually be promoted for a new position by focusing on getting to regional director. Okay, so that's just a tip between you and me. Keep that between us. You guys got, Randy, you got that? Lip sealed? Okay. All right. All right. Perfect. Jamar, you got that? All right. You might already be there, but everyone else, please do that, and we're going to be good together.